Hi folks, here's my 5-minute maths general standard vibe. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, the guts of it is I like it. I like the shape. So, a couple of name changes. General now becomes standard, and I thought this was interesting. They've done that to change it to the English, so that it's aligned with the English courses now. Prelim and HSC are now Year 11 and Year 12. This is a curious one. It counts towards ATAR for Standard 1, only if they do a optional exam. And we may be able to run Standard 1, so do the Standard 1 course from Year 11. A little bit more on that a bit later. So, one of the key things that all the cross-curriculum stuff that is in the K-10 syllabus now comes through to our Stage 6 syllabuses, and none of that really needs explaining because we've been dealing with that for long enough already. But assessments changed. Year 11, we're mandated to have 3 assessment tasks. Now, NISA, the old Board of Studies, has given us a couple of ideas. We've probably had a go at each one of these before, but they've given us some weightings and they've given us some kind of idea on that we need to have one of the non-standard or non-formal assessment tasks, so a investigation assignment. And they haven't really given us a whole lot of information on ideas on what we can do, but we've got a few already. Year 12, they've changed the assessment for their maximum 4 assessment tasks, which we already do. And again, NISA's given us a couple of different ideas. It was interesting though, some of them didn't include a trial HSC, which was weird and not terribly scary actually. Maximum weighting for a formal assessment task was 30%. So I'm assuming that meant the trial HSC exam is a maximum of 30%. But yeah, nothing terribly new about that. So what's gone? There's some good stuff gone. This is one of my favourite ones. I love compound interest tables and radar charts, especially drawing radar charts. That makes my day. Factorising is gone. Digital downloads is gone completely, and the focus studies are now included in a separate syllabus bit called AAM, Algebraic Applications and Modelling. What's new? We get the trapezoidal rule. We lost Simpson's rule, we now get the trapezoidal rule. Units of maths, Pareto charts, networks, we have an entire topic. And that's something we haven't done in New South Wales, but we can pinch some stuff from Victoria, which I already have, and WA has also implemented the Australian curriculum for a while. Surface area composite shapes comes in, and working mathematically gets another level. It gets justifying, which is a nice addition. What scares me? So at the moment, we have 240.91 hours between Year 11 and Year 12. Now, obviously, as things come up, we lose hours, so we definitely go underneath the 240 hours. And the reason that worries me is because we don't repeat stuff. In the current course, we cover, say for example, rates, we cover it in measurement, and then in the focus studies in both Year 11 and Year 12. So we cover it quite regularly, whereas in the new course, there's not that same amount of repetition, and that's going to affect some of our kids that don't get things as quickly. Scope and sequence. So I have shamelessly stolen one from Stuart Palmer, and essentially the idea was to start Year 11 with common content across the new courses. thank you, NISA, for now putting off the calculus courses for another year, so we won't know our final draft, but the things that we started with were the algebra topic, which we currently do, and then doing measurement. One of the changes I didn't talk about, standard notation, is actually our old scientific notation, which is now changed to standard notation to join the rest of the world, which is fantastic. I didn't mention it earlier, so I should mention it now. It's now y equals mx plus c, which also joins the rest of the world. New South Wales is not on its own anymore. Here's the draft scope and sequence. So what they've done, let's go back, is they've given us a standard 1 pathway and a standard 2 pathway. And you'll notice they do essentially exactly the same topics with some things left out, which it roughly works out to be 25% of the course for standard 2, you drop for standard 1. So you've got 25% extra time to cover those key ideas that the kids haven't picked up from stage 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Hopefully not 1. Nothing terribly amazing there. You've seen most of these and it's very similar to what we currently do. Only difference is doing this linear relationships earlier and not covering earning money until term 2. The statistics covered in year 11 is actually all of our DS1 to DS3. And that's covered all in 5 weeks. Now, 5 weeks is not a lot of time to cover statistics. In fact, we cover DS1 and DS2 in 5 weeks. DS3 being the more complicated interpreting graphs, talking about the shapes and stuff like that. Time is really good. And some of the budgeting and household expenses comes from our old course. That comes from our focus studies. Especially the household expenses. Food for thought. So these are my very, very brief thoughts. I like the idea of running standard 1, and most people seem to like it. But we would need to run common assessment tasks through year 11, and kids that want to do standard 2 would need to either catch up or have seen those extra. Yeah, I've already talked about time, which I'm a bit worried we're going to be rushing through stuff, but we do that at the moment as it is. And text may not be immediately available, which isn't going to surprise anyone, given they've only had essentially 9 months to get it done. But current texts have most of the content, and we may be able to beg, borrow or steal from other jurisdictions. So hopefully that's a bit handy, and hopefully that gives you something to think about the new syllabus. Have a good day.